Welcome again. We had a very interesting time with the Prophet as we unveiled the enzyme to the nations. This segment, we go to our kingly and priestly leader, Dr. Kevin King, and we will examine the Westminister System of government and its impact on our sovereignty. Dr. King.
First of all, good afternoon, Bahamas, our listening audience. Prophet Micklin Seymour, you're a tough act to follow. You're a tough act to follow, especially when you know and you sense the presence of the Holy Ruach HaKodesh and that he is speaking to his people.
Yes. Come on.
The Commonwealth of the Bahamas is in crisis.
Much.
It is the topic at every dinner, was the topic at every dinner table last night, and probably at breakfast this morning.
Yes, sir.
And lunch today.
And lunch today.
Yes, sir.
And in all the dailies.
Yes.
And on all the talk shows.
Yes.
What transpired yesterday. We of the Kingdom Government Movement, therefore, has a different point of view. Okay? It's a distraction. And it's amazing how these things happen. Last week, the country was in uproar about VAT. Today, the country is in uproar because members of the governing party were terminated. So the conversation has changed. The mood has changed. The anger has shifted. And this system is, they are so deceptive, but they are so good. They understand how to function in this system. That the emotions of the Bahamian populace is always played on. And while they distract you with this, they are doing this. And you don't know what they're doing here because you're too busy concerned about what's going on here. This system is an attack on the mere sovereignty of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. But yet still, we have never really been an independent nation or a sovereign nation. Only in word.
Only in word.
Okay. So let me explain to you, for those who may not know, what transpired yesterday. Junior ministers of the governing party opposed their party's position on a bill. According to the Westminister System now, they had two options. Actually, they had three options. When you oppose your government for the position in which they held, you either resign, you cross the floor and go independent, or you join the party opposite. Those are the only three options they had. And having said that, they did neither. So, the Prime Minister asked, didn't direct, didn't tell, but he asked the Governor General if she could revoke the parliamentary positions that were offered to these junior ministers. He did not have the authority to do so.
Come on.
He could only ask because he's not head of state.
independent.
So we're not independent. Let me tell you how serious this Westminster system is. If the Queen of England today, if Her Majesty decides to send someone to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, let's say there's a British resident or British citizen that lives here, and she decides to appoint that individual as Governor General, there's nothing anyone can do about it. Because according to the Constitution of the Bahamas, only Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, can appoint a Governor General. It does not matter what the practice is. It does not matter that she has allowed the Prime Minister to advise her, because she does not reside here. If she wants to invoke her powers, according to the Constitution that we have, she can say, Mr. Prime Minister, I no longer need your advice.
I have appointed
the Governor General.
Yes.
Okay? And he has nothing to say. And that's why when His Excellency Arthur D. Hanna said, when she's in England, she is the Queen of England. The second she comes into the airspace of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, she's Queen of the Bahamas.
Yes.
And there's nothing anyone can do. She reigns supreme. If you look at the speech from the throne, even though when it is read, the speech may say, my government. But they have to put that there. And when the Governor General reads it, it is her government.
That's right.
They are representing her. She sits on her throne. And she says, my government will do this. My government will do that.
Come on.
She is sovereign, not the Bahamas.
Wow.
The Queen is sovereign. I say to Bahamians, the Bahamian citizenry, who's in uproar about the young aspiring politicians that were terminated, I want you to understand that the first thing they did was they swore an allegiance to the Queen, her heirs, and successors according to law.
According to law.
Okay? That is the first thing you do when you are in this Westminster system. You do not take the oath of office first. That comes second.
Not even to God the Almighty.
You don't swear anything to God. You swear allegiance to the Queen first. Recognizing her authority, recognizing that you now are wrapped up. This is the system that you have sworn allegiance to. And now during the proceeds of Parliament, and you walk behind the Speaker with the mace, which is the royal authority. And every time you enter into the halls of Parliament, before you pass that brown gate, you bow. You have to follow the protocol. You are sworn to that. Now, unfortunately, our prime ministers, both Honorable Hubert Ingram and Honorable Perry Gladstone Christie, they use the Westminster system to their advantage when it's convenient for them. When it's not convenient for them, they make all kinds of excuses why they don't follow the Westminster system. And that was an upcry in the gambling referendum, when the Prime Minister should have resigned. And this constitutional referendum was just passed in 2016, he should have resigned. That's the Westminster system. But here it is, this Prime Minister bringing to bear the Westminister System on these young men whom he could have, it didn't really affect them that much because they know that the law or bill was going to pass anyway.
They're the majority.
They had the majority. But you have to look at the underpinnings of why they did that. See, in this system, there are two governing parties that is controlled by special interests that has reins on the government. 2 for 1. So, during the debate, the Honorable Von Miller, I don't know if Reese Chitman as well, requested a select committee to deal with the natural resources. If he crosses the aisle, he has no authority anymore to get that select committee. If he goes to the opposition, he doesn't have the number, he doesn't have the authority to call for it. But if he stays where he is, and he can continuously call, doesn't mean they're going to do it, but they know that if they do it, everything about the natural resources will come to the forefront.
Okay.
All of those who have leases, those who benefit, the revenue, everything has to come if it goes to select committee. So, the special interests are at work. But, I see that I don't think these gentlemen are going to cross the aisle. Let me say something to the Bahamian people. Listen to me very carefully. The kingdom government movement is only about system change and introducing the kingdom of Yahweh. We're not here to castigate anyone or any personalities. There are two entities that the Bahamas must come to realize must be eradicated in this country in order for us to be sovereign. The first is the monarchy. The second is party politics. They love one another. It's these two systems that keeps the country divided.
Right, sir.
Okay? So now, let's look at this third party. Just for conversation. Everyone is wondering if there's an alternative, if there's a viable alternative to the two major political parties. And persons are looking at the DNA. And I've seen names come up, Komalafi and Greenslade, these who are the new superstars of the DNA, and Mortimer. But let me tell you something. This is not about intelligentsia, you know. This is not about good ideas. If the DNA, let's just say, the DNA won the last general elections, the system would be the same.
It would change.
What would be new? What is the message? Oh, we'll have more transparency. Oh, we will give you the Freedom of Information Act. They don't understand the power of the Westminister System. They don't understand how you will have to conform to that system.
System must change.
They don't understand that. It's like when a president is running, let's say when Donald Trump was running for president, and Barack Obama was still the interim president, he was only privy to certain information while he was running. But when he became the interim president now, and he has to sit with Barack Obama, the president, and he has to sit with all of the hierarchy of the US government, now he begins to see the world in a totally different sphere. So all the rhetoric that he did on the campaign trail, When reality
When
sets
reality sets in,
it's a whole
it's a different
different
song.
ballgame.
It's a different song.
Yes.
And that's why Fred Mitchell says, you don't govern as you campaign.
No.
And the DNA would be a slave to the same system. They have to operate within the confines of the Westminister system. That is not change. Understand what I'm saying? You can change the personalities. You can change the individuals. Even those that may have some brilliant ideas, may have come from the most astute universities. But the system remains the same.
The system must change.
The system is the enemy of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Yes.
You understand that? Now this monarchy is so intertwined in our constitution that the kingdom government movement will be a government of constitutional reform. You just can't eliminate the monarchy without changing the constitution, because there are so many codes inside the constitution that we do not understand. That lets us know that we are not a sovereign nation, but we are still really just a colony, and we are part of the realm. And that is why the system, my fellow Bahamians, it's not that Honorable Hubert Minnis is bad. It's not that Honorable Perry Christie was bad. It's not that Honorable Hubert Ingram was bad.
Not Finland. No.
Nor Cylinder. It was the system that they have to follow a system. If you don't follow your parents' rules and guidelines in their home, you have to go, they can put you out. The Bahamian has been looking for changes for quite some time. This year, yellow. Next year, red. No, that didn't work. This one, red. That didn't work. This one, yellow. That didn't work. You are looking for something, my fellow Bahamians. You are looking for change. Almost to the, you can say it's insanity.
Yeah.
Because we just keep going back and forth, back and forth.
Same thing.
I took note, I watched the debate in the House this week before they voted. And one can say they were impressed with Glenys Hanna Martin, how she challenged the other side pertaining to the budget. Bahamas, these are the same part, it doesn't matter. The governing party had its role to play leading up to the World Trade Organization implementation. The Progressive Liberal Party had their role to play leading up to the implementation of the World Trade Organization. They both have a role to play, and they both had a role to play, and they both have been playing their roles. They are not opposed to each other. Don't mind the grandstanding in Parliament. They know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what they're doing. They are propagators of the Westminister System. They are part of the world system that wants to see the Bahamas conform to the New World Order. There's no difference between the two. We just passed a referendum in 2016. The FNM was not the governing party. We just had a gambling referendum. The FNM was not the governing party. And both of these incidences were to get us compliant with the New World Order, with the World Trade Organization.
That's right. That's right.
Gambling, same-sex marriage, all of this is a part of their conformity. Today, Donald Trump said we are no longer going to be a part of the United Nations human rights. He said the organization doesn't do what they say they're going to do, and he's, you know, America became so great economically. But now they have pushed that aside.
So they don't.
They pushed that aside. But now, he said, it's my time now to really set up my kingdom.
Doc, you're saying a mouthful. You're saying a mouthful. Even as you talk, right? I look at the preamble of the Constitution of the Bahamas, and it talks about, these are the words. I just want, in base of what you're saying. Now know therefore, we the inheritance of the ancestors of these family islands, recognizing the supremacy of God. Are we recognizing the supremacy of God, or are we recognizing the Queen? Are you saying, what are we doing? We have this powerful preamble of the Constitution, right? And what I hear you saying, our Prime Minister is sworn to the dogmas of the Queen, yes, and following her successors.
Yes.
And I'm saying, is this what a country means to be under the supremacy of God, or recognizing the supremacy of God? And went on to say, I'm believing on the fundamental rights and freedom of the individual, do bear hereby proclaiming in solemn praise, what's this? The establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation. Yeah. But if you're going to be sovereign nation, and you committed to the Queen to the point where you say we're swearing to her, but yet they're saying in the preamble, under the supremacy of God. Does that
it's a conflict?
Isn't that ironic?
Yes, it's like a country divided against itself, and that's why we have total anarchy. We cannot. Bahamians do not understand what sovereignty is. There are a lot of persons today talking about sovereignty. And some may feel, let's just say another third party emerges. They feel that, oh, okay, now we're going to get our natural resources. Oh, okay, now we're going to have more transparency. They do not understand that this is a spiritual battle.
Big time.
There are certain things that has to be done in this land in order for the Bahamian people to get their natural resources and to benefit from it. It's not who's in government. It's not who's in there. Remember I said they have to conform to the system. You see, when the cat's away, mice will play. Okay? This idolatrous system, this antiquated system, this outdated system, this system that is not in tune with the 21st century Bahamian, this system that has the Bahamian people oppressed and has had us oppressed for so many years, this system that keeps us divided as a nation, this system that divides us with politics, this system that divides us in class warfare. Remember now, it is not black against white anymore, Bahamians. Listen, it is not black against white. That's over. It's the haves and the have-nots. It's class warfare. You are not entitled. You do not qualify. You do not have the pedigree to have anything that belongs to you. I was speaking to the Honorable Neville Wisdom yesterday. I met up with him. And he said, young man, I haven't seen you in a while. What's happening with you? I say, sir, I'm finally I've been called, I've been chosen to be a part of the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas in the next general elections. We're running under kingdom government, and our mandate is to eliminate the Westminister System. We say, there you go. That's it right there.
Everybody.
Got to change the system. He said it's not going to be easy, young man, because you have to change the mindset of the people. The people have been shackled, and then he started to talk about Bob Marley. You know? And I said, Mr. Wisdom, sir, it is time. The recircumcision, it's an ominous task to change the minds of our people. But the cry is there. They want change.
They want change. They want change. But they just don't know exactly what the change is and how it will come about. All right. You talk about the natural resources. You talk about the natural resources, and you made a powerful point where it's not about just going there and getting the natural resources, because the system between this generation attaining those natural resources, there's a symbolic, what we call Jericho wall. And that is the system. And as long as that system is in place, like Dr. King said, it's idolaters, its instruments are not righteous, unrighteous. It allows forces to come in and operate in our nation at a level that we don't pay no attention to, Doc.
None whatsoever.
So here we have wicked spirit in high places. And the system allow these, the way how it's set up, allow forces of darkness, principalities and rulers in high places to do and carry out some mandate that we really ain't checking for. And because the Father wants to cause us to become a sovereign nation and all the things that I hear you saying, we have to deal with the system. We have to change it.
Yeah, but they have to understand, it's not even just, you're saying changing the system from what to what. See, the entire system of governance and how we live as a people will change. Banking will be different. The financial system will be different.
Touch it.
How the government functions, how all the ministries functions, everything will be different.
Education.
Okay, education, a whole new data system, a whole new computerized system where you will have transparency. Everything will change. It's not just getting rid of the monarchy, you know. It's changing the entire system of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So you now, not the natural resources, you know, you, the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, you are our most valuable treasure. You are our most valuable resources. That is the change. Because still without you, there can be no natural resources. The system changes so you can change. So you will really own the Bahamas. You will own this. This is yours.
No longer crown land.
The crown, these symbols will no longer be in this country. Remember, the kingdom government will be the government of constitutional referendum. So a lot of these symbols, you'll have to say, we don't want them anymore. All of these antiquated laws, the judiciary has to change.
Very console.
Some aspects of our defense and police force has to change. These are systems. The educational system has to change. The healthcare system has to change. Agriculture, fisheries, all of these has to change. Housing. How can it be that you spend the biggest part of your investment as a family is your home? And how could it be that after 15 or 20 years a bank can come in and take your home? That will not happen under kingdom government.
Can't.
It will not happen. There will be new banks. There will be a whole new system. And eventually we're going to lay it out to you. This comes from up top. Miles said ideas that will blow your mind.
Yes.
So you can't see it, you know. We have to give it to you. But some things, he says, you're not ready to handle it now. So we have to educate you first and prepare you for what we're going to give to you. Because when you do A whole revolution can start. You may say, we want you now. But like they said in Parliament the other day, we are the government for 5 years and we will do what we want to do. And they are correct. So the kingdom government movement, we of the kingdom government movement cannot be running behind everything that the governing party does. We won't go chasing waterfalls. We won't go putting out fires. Because today it'll be people being fired. Tomorrow it'll be something else. They will constantly change the narrative. So we have to speak to you from our narrative. System change, government change, ministerial change, financial change, central bank change, legal system change. Look how long they've been talking about the court backup. These are lawyers that went to England. These are the best trained lawyers, and you tell me you can't get a court system with just over 400,000 people in order? And every 5 years is the same thing? Every 5 years the Bahamas, they're losing money. Every 5 years the Ministry of Health is in crisis. Every 5 years, who can't change the educational system? The same thing, over and over and over and over again. Complete change.
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, we'll touch a little bit on this World Trade Organization so you can understand. See, it's okay to oppose something, but you need to understand why you're opposing it. You just don't oppose for opposing's sake. You just can't say sovereignty. What is sovereignty? Why are we not sovereign? Because we don't have our natural resources? God, come on, it's deeper than that. That's superficial. My fellow Bahamians, the kingdom government movement is upon you. Like Yeshua said and John the Baptist, repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. And I say to you this afternoon, the kingdom of Yahweh, the kingdom of God has come. You need to be a part of it. Look at our country. You, the Bahamian people, are not pleased with, there is nothing in this country heart that you are pleased with. You're not pleased with the church. You're not pleased with the church leaders. You're not pleased with the banking institution. You're not pleased with how frustrated Bahamians are to do business in their own country. You're not pleased with the governance of your country. We are on a powder keg. Had it not been for the aragonite in the air, that keeps us calm. We have the potential to be a violent people because we've been beaten down for so long. That lets you know that his hand is at work. We're non-violent people. The balmy air, the balmy seas, that aragonite out there keeps us calm.
Hallelujah.
It keeps us calm, you know.
Yes,
But everyone wants to come here. And Bahamians, this is your time, you know. You see the path this government is going. And you see how they want to accelerate this process. But I say to you this afternoon, it's not going to happen. And even if this country signs on to the WTO, don't be afraid. Because without a shadow of a doubt, when the kingdom government movement enters into governance of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, those treaties will be rescinded. And they have to go back from whence they came. Because the first priority is to you, the Bahamian people. I'm not a politician, but I am glad that Yahweh Elohim has prepared me for 52 years for a time such as this. And the team that he is going to put together. Not me. The team that he is going to put together is going to blow your mind. And you will know because they will all resonate with you. And the words that they speak will be spirit and they will be life. things you've never heard before. If I, man, Prophet, Prophet, the things.
What he's saying is the truth.
Prophet, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Just the banking system alone, these young people will finally feel that they got something. This walking around and going in the banks with passports and the most precious identification you could have, so many Bahamians are losing their passports. This is utter nonsense.
You shouldn't have to do that.
When you walk into the bank now, young people, you're going to walk in there with everything on your phone. Your whole life will be on your phone. And no one can have access to it other than you. New technologies, man, listen here. Prophet, the banking system, we will have our own banks. These foreign banks, I don't even know if they will survive. Because you would have Bahamian banks on every island. Bahamian banks. Dedicated to Bahamians. So you have to realize all the banking systems now, these are world systems. All of them are raping us blind. Commonwealth Bank, even though it's a domestic bank, it's a local bank, it's still a part of the world system. They may give you a loan, but they're going to kill you with the interest rate. Yeah, they're going to do what the major banks don't do, but boy, they're going to suck it to you. You're going to pay for them to give you that money. And this is how they just continue to drain us and to break us. And they never give you what you really need. They give you enough. They give you enough. But I'm excited because just like how you have the Bahamas insurance companies now are basically all local, all of our banking industry, our financial industry is going to be local.
Hallelujah.
We will not have to rely on foreign banks anymore. The Prophet, that's my 2 cents for the day. Host, that's my 2 cents for the
Dr. King,
day.
you have shared very much with us today. I note with interest your reference to the Honorable Minister Vaughan Miller and his request for a select committee to determine the natural resources of the country. And I reflected back on the wilderness experience where the Jews were to enter a land rich of milk and honey, rich with natural resources. And it is true that the wealth of the country is for the people of the country. They are natural resources. I only pray that we are able to have this committee so that we can have an understanding as to how rich a nation we really are. So there can be a fair distribution of the wealth of the land. Because we know we're getting ready for something new. This Joshua generation is mandated to oversee the fair distribution of the wealth of the land. You are tuned in to unveiling the new Bahamas, brought to you by the Righteous Kingdom Government Movement. And in studio with me, Prophet Micklin Seymour and Dr. Kevin King. We are pleased to have brought the show to you. And should you desire to know more or become a part of this movement, contact us at the People's Foundation. Our telephone contact 242-36356. That's 242-356-3136. 242-810-2694. WhatsApp us 242-455-5626. Email us at info@righteouskingdomgovernmentmovement.org. That's info@righteouskingdomgovernmentmovement.org. Thank you, our viewing and listening audience, for tuning in. Until next week, same time, same station. Yah bless you.